Hey guys, this video is a little longer than the ones that I usually make for a project of this type, but I'll go ahead and put some timestamps in the description box below, and you can click on those in case you want to just jump to a specific part. Stay tuned, I think you're going to like this one. Hey guys, welcome back to Mediocre Arts and Crafts. I'm Bug. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. Please consider subscribing. And please consider giving this video a like if you like it. Today I am coming to you with a project that kind of came out of the blue. I was just chopping up some paper pads to make some little kind of notebooks or books where I could put like a journaling card on one side and then a space for a photo on the other. And these are a couple that I just kind of put together as a prototype. And so this is another one that is more, this one is scored here on the binding. And so this binding is created a little differently. So it opens up and it stays open pretty nicely, but the binding is such that it doesn't stay open on its own, really. So I was looking at a few things, wasn't sure that I liked this design, but I still love this paper, and kept playing and ended up with this guy. Now, this guy is the same sort of design, except for it is full of pockets, and so this opens this way, and it is much like one of those little accordion books that opens like this and has the little slots in it, but it is created horizontally, landscapey, and I just made some pockets. I put some tags in them with the corresponding paper and decorated it a little bit. I thought this would be cute to have a photo and maybe a journaling card or a place for ephemera. A really tiny kind of scrapbook, which would be nice if you, I think, had a short visit with somebody but still wanted to send them a remembrance of it, and you just have 3 or 4 or 5 photos, then you can give them something that's personalized and nice, but it does but it's not a whole entire album. And as I was playing with this idea, I ended up with the project that I'm going to bring to you today. And I apologize if there's a lot of background noise. It is super windy here today, and also there are people, you know, doing yard work and mowing and things. So here's the project, and I'm calling this a gift book. So the book itself isn't really the thing. And we're going to make one today just like this, but we are going to decorate it with some designer cardstock. This starts off with the same kind of idea as this little guy with the pockets, only I made it so it has a little closure here. And so for purposes of today, I'm using magnets. And I put magnets on here, assuming that I'm gonna glue designer paper over them. But you could definitely use tiny Velcro dots or another type of closure if you wanted to. I feel like once it's filled, will need at least a really, you know, light closure. Excuse me. So that could be a belly band or some twine, or, you know, whatever you find is clever. So when you open this, it starts with a pocket on this side, and it has pockets all throughout. And then back here, it has a place where you can write a message. So as a gift card holder, my thought is we're going to fill this with a number of different things. one being a gift card, maybe a photo, maybe some stickers. And then here we would have a piece of white cardstock or a lighter, less busy piece of designer cardstock that you can, you know, write your little sentiment on. Let's get started. So we are starting with 4 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. My example is done in black cardstock, so that's what I'm going to be using today. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see score lines and things when we are using black cardstock, but I think I got the lighting just wonky enough so you can see all the shadows and where they're folded. So 4 of these, and what we're going to do is we are going to cut them down to 5 by 8.5. So if I cut 5 here, and 8.5 of course is the regular size of the paper, then I have room for 1 more. So I'm going to take this, and I don't know if any of you do this, but when I have a piece of paper that I'm going to cut twice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to cut it this way. I figured that this is the outside of the sheet that was not cut by me. It was cut by, you know, the manufacturer. So this is straight. Even if my cut is a little wonky on this side, at least I'll have one straight edge that is clean on this side. So I always try to maximize those clean edges. And so I flipped that over, and I'm going to cut off what is essentially was the middle of this piece of paper. I don't know if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, I apologize. It's really not important. That was extra. So we're going to set these 2 aside, and we're going to cut all 4 sheets to these dimensions for now. Now I've got my trusty giant paper thingy. Oh my gosh. Scoreboard. Scoreboard. And I'm gonna reach across here. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to take 6 of these pieces, and we are going to score them in half. So this is 8.5 inches. So we are going to score at 4 1/4. And you can score them all and set them aside, or you can score each one and fold and burnish, whatever you like. But oh, look what I did. Scored at 4 instead of 4 1/4. All right, that's okay. All gonna be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold all of them and burnish them. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, all the same dimensions and scored in the same place. And now we have these other 2. So the first thing that we're going to do is one of these is going to be our cover piece. So it will be the piece with this flap, this tiny little gusset, and this back piece. And so In order to get that, you are going to score at 1, 1 1/4, 7 1/4, and 7 1/2. Again, that's 1, 1 1/4, 7 1/4, and 7 1/2. So this guy, you'll go ahead and burnish all of these pieces. I had started this actually using designer cardstock for the base, which is great because, you know, we want to use all of our designer cardstock, and it uses up a bunch to also create a base for a book or something like this, a brag book from the designer cardstock. But then you have to worry about the orientations of the paper, if they're all going to match, if you accidentally use 3 of the same thing all in a row. So that's why I like to make these from just plain cardstock. So there's that one. And this guy is the last rectangle that we have. So this is the last 5 by 11 piece. And we're going to cut it down. We're going to go ahead and cut it down to 5 by 6. So this is already at 5. Just going to go ahead and cut it at 6 inches. And this is another reason why I have a paper trimmer that has a 6-inch platform, because we don't have to pull out the arm every single time we want to get a 6-inch cut. So there we go. So you can see in our completed one, I did make some notches to kind of indicate that it's a pocket. I don't know that that's completely necessary. I made another one here as well because I thought I would be clever and put them all at the bottom. Then I realized that I'll also be covering these up and need to notch all of the mats, and it seemed a little too complicated for what I was trying to accomplish at the moment. So I decided that I'm not going to do that. The reason that this is designed with this open portion here is because what I envision is that there's going to be something sticking out of each of these, whether, you know, how you get a gift card and it's attached to that big piece of cardstock, or if you have something small, you could adhere it to a tag and have the tag sticking out. So I decided that for this one, I'm not going to do that, but you could definitely do that if you want to. This part is pretty simple. We're just going to glue these together. And let's see here. Make sure frame. Set my pin aside. So we're just going to go ahead and glue these. The smallest bead of glue on all 3 sides. If you can even get glue out of your glue at all. Don't forget that you're making a pocket, so you want this bead of glue pretty thin to maximize your space. And I'm just going to take the next piece and stand it up and kind of whoop, put these two together Make sure they're flush at the table and flush at the ends. And that's pretty much what I did for all of these. Okay, that part's done. So now we're going to take this piece of cardstock that I scored at 1 inch, 1 1/4, 7 1/4, and 7 1/2. And we are just going to go ahead and glue this right in here into this little gusset. Now, make sure that you don't glue it this way or you'll glue all of your pockets shut. So unlike the version here, where I left this flap up, I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down, and we're going to see how that works out. So, I think I'll go ahead and glue this part down first. Oh my gosh. I'm so angry with this glue bottle and I don't even know what to do. Woohoo! Alright, line this up in that gusset and right against the back of this guy here. I'm going to kind of, once it's lined up at the top and the bottom, push it into place. And then go ahead and burnish it a little. That's good. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this guy on. Now this piece of cardstock becomes the base of one of the pockets and also the cover. So when we glue this one on, we are just going to glue all the way around here to make a pocket, like we did with all the other pockets that are inside. I'm so angry at this glue bottle right now, you guys don't even know. I took it off, I cleaned it out, I washed it out last week, and it's still just being difficult. So I'm going to have to look for an alternative, because nobody wants to do this in between every time they glue, or like in the middle of when you're gluing a line, right? Right. Thank you for agreeing with me. And so we're gonna set this guy down and even him up. And then you go out to the craft closet and figure out what to do about your glue bottle. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I dealt with my glue situation, but it's the next day and the window is wide open, so you might hear some noise. We think that there might be a dead mouse in the craft room somewhere, so it doesn't smell amazing. And I'm just going to try to get this all finished up so I can get it edited and loaded, and not have to smell the smell anymore. So we are here. We have our booklet put together. And again, if you want to do some little notches, go ahead and do those. You can do them now, or you can do them after you cover the pages. Next thing that we're going to do before we go any further is, if you're going to put magnets, you want to put your magnets now, because then you can cover them up with your paper. So what I'm using today is these tiny magnets, and they're pretty good. It's what I used on this, so it stays. I'll show you how I do magnets that aren't adhesive backed. So we need to tape the magnet down while the glue sets. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to take a piece of washi, and this is definitely extra. You don't have to do this way at all. So I'm going to separate my magnets. I'm going to put one underneath and one on top. So now I know which orientation they should be glued down in. Then I just take these so that I can, and I rip off the little loop of washi at the end so that I can glue these down and separate them. So just going to pick a spot, probably start from the bottom, and maybe I'll open this up just so it's a little easier to see. Put that here. It's probably way too much glue, but remember, we are going to go ahead and cover it up. So if the glue gets everywhere, that's okay. So I'm gonna make sure the magnet is in the glue and get this other piece down. Now you have your magnet that's on top, not glued down yet. It is just in the right spot. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue on top of it. And remember, when you do this part, you want to make sure that you don't push it down so that it's completely flat. You want to give it some room. Remember, you have a 1/4 inch gusset here, and you're going to fill this, so you still want the magnets to meet once it's filled. So what I did on the last one, I think, is I put my bone folder under here just to it's not working for me. Okay, now I know where it needs to go. I'm going to try it this way. There we go. All right. And then they should still meet. Cool. Okay. And then you can use either, you can just press them down this way, or like I use the bone folder or something to put in there to press down. So these are super thin, but there is a little bit of a, this is the tiniest little bit of room between the flap and the cover. But once we get it all decorated, no one will be the wiser. Okay, so to cover our book and get it all decorated, we need 3 pieces of cardstock that are 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. So these are the cover here, and then the back cover, and this inside cover. And then we are going to need 12, it's 11 or 12 sheets that are 4 3/4 by 4. And the only other thing that we're going to need here, aside of some stickers or embellishments for decorating, is if you want to cover the inside and the outside of your flap here, you're going to need pieces that measure 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4. So I have 2 of those. That's optional. I just had those and thought they were cute. I am not going to be covering the outside spines or the inside spine. They're pretty small, and this is really just kind of a vehicle to present your gifts. It's not like a mini album or something that's going to be used a lot, and so I decided I wouldn't take the time to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these glued down, and I'll probably speed it up a little bit. Don't forget to decide what you want in the front and the back. And I think I'm going to put this one in the front, put this one on the back, and the other one inside. And I'm just going to go ahead and probably speed this up and get it all put together. But look, my glue's working. Yay! Now here, we're going to decide if we're worried about images that are portrait versus landscape. I'm not too worried about it. I do have the covers going in this orientation, but a lot of these pages are not orientation specific. So I'm just going to kind of mix it up here, and I'm not really too worried about it. But if you are, make sure that you look through your paper before you start gluing. Was not paying attention to that one. Okay, so all of the little pockets are covered. If you want to make notches now, you could also make notches now if you didn't already and you're still wanting to do that. Just gonna get these two down. Put this one inside. I can line that up a little bit. Oh, a little crooked. And one more. Fabulous. If you have your sheet for your sentiment, you can go ahead and glue that down now. This one is 4 3/4 by 4. You can cut it down, or you don't even have to cut it down, I'm sorry. You can adhere it to one of these pages if you like. But I'm just gonna lay it right there. Just eyeball it in the center. Seems good enough. Nice. Okay. So just because, I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece. 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. So this piece is 4 3/4 by 1 1/2. There we go. So now we're ready to finish our gift. If you wanted to take a few stickers from your sticker sheet, if you have one, now's the time to do that. I designed this so that you have multiple pockets here, and you can put your sentiment here, and let's say in one of these pockets you put your gift card. This should also cover or carry. This should also fit a, what am I doing? There we go. A gift card that's on the larger cardboard piece, like they hang at the store. So that should fit in. Most of those will fit in one of these. So let's say you are giving a gift to a crafter. So maybe you have a little stamp that you want to give. There's a little stamp. Fits right in there. Maybe you have an ephemera pack that you want to give away. So you put that in one of these. It should fit right in there. And still close. I've got some handy alcohol wipes. These are the hand ones. And that'll fit in one of these. You could put a number of them in there. Also, I have a few other things. I have some felt letters. I keep these when I find them. The last few sets I've gotten have been from the Target Dollar Spot, and they're just fun to personalize gifts or wrapping. And let's see, and then also I have some photos here. Of course, some photos will fit. So we could put photos in here as well. And some stickers if you're into stickers, or whoever you're giving it to is into stickers. I just have a bunch here, and I'm just going to fit this in one of these pockets as well. And now we have a gift that includes a gift card, but it's also got a few other things in it that make it very personalized. Thanks again for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you enjoyed any part of this video. Let me know if you would consider giving a gift book with your gift card. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget, safety first.